welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this special edition of Africa Today. And we will start off with President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi and Sultan of the Indian Bohra sect, Mufaddal Saifuddin, on Sunday inaugurated Al-Sayyida Zainab Mosque after it was renovated. In an address, el-Sisi thanked the Bohra Sultan for his participation in the renovation of the mosque and the mausoleums of the members of the House of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. The inauguration was attended by Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli and Minister of Endowments Muhammad Mukhtar Goma. During the inauguration, al-Sisi said that there is a scheme to develop the mosque of the members of Prophet Muhammad's house, adding that he appreciates the contributions of the Bohra Sultan in the effort. He said the inhabitants in the areas around the mosque can be compensated and relocated to return to the area to its original status. More on the Sayyida Zainab Mosque in the coming report.
كل الشكر. ده يمكن
Al-Sayyida Zainab Mosque is a historic mosque in Cairo, Egypt, and one of the biggest mosques in the history of the country. The name is in honor to Sayyida Zainab bint Ali, one of the daughters of the Imam Ali, the fourth caliph, and his wife Fatima, daughter of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. It is one of the most popular tombs to visit amongst Ismaili Shiites. The mosque originally consisted of 7 corridors parallel to the wall of the Qibla, with a square dish covered with a dome. On the opposite side of the Qibla wall is the mausoleum of Sayyida Zainab, surrounded by a brass fence and topped by a tall dome. In 1969, the Ministry of Endowments doubled the area of the mosque. The mosque occupies the center of the neighborhood, and there is a Sayyida Zainab square in front of the mosque. The square is one of the most famous and important squares in Cairo, and there are numerous restaurants and cafes.
Welcome back, dear viewers. Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry said it's important to reach a ceasefire deal in Gaza and a hostage swap to contain the crisis. He was speaking at a news conference with visiting Slovenian Foreign Minister Tanja Fajon in Cairo on Sunday. He said the crisis in Gaza and its repercussions on the security and stability of the region. The press conference was held after their meeting earlier discussed bilateral ties and issues of mutual concern, especially the war in Gaza.
دبلوماسي ونعمل على توثيق العلاقات في النطاق السياسي والاقتصادي والثقافي. عقدنا خلال زيارتي لسلوفينيا الجولة الثانية للجنة الاقتصادية المشتركة، ووضعنا عدد من الاتفاقيات فيما بين البلدين في مجالات مختلفة للتفاوض، وإن شاء الله اتفقنا على تسريع المفاوضات حولها حتى يتم توقيعها خلال لقاء آخر يجمعنا. الحقيقة أثمن كثيرا مواقف سلوفينيا المبدئية إزاء القضايا في المنطقة.
Welcome back, and to shed more light on the significance of the press conference between Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry and his Slovenian counterpart, we're joined over the phone by Ambassador Sou'ad Shalaby, former assistant to the Foreign Minister. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Well, Ambassador Shalaby, Egypt, Slovenia, how do you see the timing of the visit by the Slovenian Foreign Minister to Egypt?
Well, it is very important, of course, this visit because Slovenia and Egypt are very close and very, and both are on the same page regarding the situation in Gaza. And they have, the two ministers have exchanged their views on the situation in the Middle East. And this timing is very important, especially because of what is happening in Gaza and the closure of the Rafah border for humanitarian aid and for the civilian casualties. Yes. So this is a very important timing.
Right. How can Slovenia help in efforts to reach a ceasefire in Gaza?
Well, Slovenia condemns the attacks on civilians and civilian infrastructure. And they are very much in favor of ceasefire, immediate ceasefire. And they are in favor of access to humanitarian aid, the passage of humanitarian aid, because the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Slovenia has called in the press conference for a ceasefire in Gaza, and she has also expressed her important declaration over the death toll and the continuous tensions that are happening on the border, forcing the people to leave their land and to leave their homes and not to have anywhere to go. That is the main issue that has been discussed in the bilateral meeting between the two officials, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Egypt and the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Slovenia.
Right. Well, Ambassador Shalaby, how do you weigh international efforts to put an end to the crisis in Gaza, and what are your expectations for reaching a ceasefire deal in the near future?
Well, as we have seen, the whole international community is pressuring the Israeli government to stop the war in Gaza. And it has been shown in the General Assembly that 143 countries, including many European countries, and Slovenia is one of them, have asked to create the Palestinian state and to be a member of the General Assembly, to have full rights and become a member of like any other country. And so there is a pressure from the international community and from the United Nations General Assembly in order to solve this problem and have a two-state solution for the future of Palestine and Palestinian people. And the two leaders, two ministers have agreed, because there are excellent relations between Egypt and Slovenia, and the both countries are on the same page regarding the ceasefire and the immediate ceasefire and the continuous opening of the borders in order to reach the humanitarian aid, to reach the citizens of Gaza, and also to stop the forced displacement of the people in Gaza. Those who are living in Rafah are in great danger now.
Right. How have failure to stop aggression on Gaza affected the weight of international bodies and powerhouses?
Well, as you have seen, there has been a continuous criticism of the situation and of the Netanyahu policy, and every time there is effort to stop the war, there has been initiatives from different countries, and both have. Every time it fails because Netanyahu is insisting on the genocide system of destroying the country and of annihilating all the people and forcing the people to either die or to die of hunger or die of bombing. So it is the failure of the international community is going to backfire on Netanyahu after his term is ending, because even the Israelis are not happy with his policies, and they are asking for the hostages to be released as soon as possible. So from both sides, the international community and the local Israelis are not happy are not supporting the Netanyahu genocide policy.
Mm-hmm. How would you comment on the latest developments in Rafah?
Well, it is a disaster. It is a big disaster, and especially that our borders, whether it is Jordan or Egypt, are suffering because, of course, closing the borders is not in favor of Egypt. Egypt was sending all the humanitarian assistance, the food, the medical aid, and they were receiving those who needed to be hospitalized, those who needed urgent medical assistance. So it is a very difficult situation, and of course the Camp David Accords are in jeopardy, and also the people in Gaza are suffering, and we cannot help them because they are on the other side of Rafah, and the borders are closed. So we have our hands tied.
Right. Well, I would like to thank you so much, Ambassador Sou'ad Shalaby, former assistant to the Foreign Minister. And many thanks for your insight. And dear viewers, now we move on to our special reports. Cairo is warning against the deteriorating situation in Gaza. More in the following report.
A high-level source said that Egypt told all concerned parties that the Israelis bear responsibility for the deteriorating humanitarian conditions in the Gaza Strip. Cairo's comments come after the failure of the recent round of indirect Cairo-host negotiations between the Hamas movement and the Israelis to reach a ceasefire agreement in the Gaza Strip and a prisoner swap deal. Israeli media cited Palestinian sources as saying that Egypt are waiting for the United States to reach an agreed-upon plan to overcome the gaps in the deal. The UN Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees, UNRWA, reported that 150,000 Palestinians have fled from Rafah in southern Gaza Strip since Monday. The relief organization added on X that at least 300,000 people affected as further areas across the Gaza Strip received new evacuation orders, both towards central Rafah in the south and Jabalia in the north.
The opening session of the International Finance Corporation IFC Day activities in Egypt opened with the attendance of a number of ministers. During the event, Cairo said that Egypt's vision during 2030 aimed to develop four main sectors, which are industry, agriculture, communication and tourism, pointing that the private sector will boost these sectors.
The Vice President of the International Finance Corporation IFC, Sergio Pimenta, is in Egypt from May 11th to 13th, reportedly to discuss IFC's keenness on backing Cairo's development goals via boosting private sector participation in the economy, as per an emailed press release. During his visit to Cairo, Pimenta met with officials, private sector representatives and development partners to identify new opportunities for further economic growth in support of Egypt's asset monetization program. He took part in IFC Day in Egypt, a high-level forum showcasing opportunities and challenges the country faces in its dynamic economic journey and how IFC can help. Mustafa Madbouli attended the event on Sunday along with officials from the Ministry of International Cooperation, Governor of Egypt at the World Bank Group Rania Al-Mashat, and the Planning and Economic Development Hala Al-Said. Mohammed Maid and the Governor of the Central Bank of Egypt, Hassan Abdullah, along with leading figures from the private sector and development institutions, also attended the event. On the sidelines of IFC Day, Pimenta will also sign agreements aimed at supporting key sectors including the finance sector, fintech, healthcare and more. It is worth noting that IFC has invested and mobilized approximately $9 billion in projects in Egypt since 1975, holding an advisory portfolio amounting to $26.8 million.
Welcome back, dear viewers, and that was the special edition covering the three main events that took place here today in Egypt, among which is the inauguration of Al Sayyida Zainab Mosque after it was renovated, and the press conference that was held between Foreign Minister Sameh Shukri and his Slovenian counterpart. Many thanks for watching. This is Naveen Ramzi signing off.